I'd say this is my first attempt at what I would call a proper painting, rather than a sketch. I was very unsure about certain aspects of this throughout the painting, but I think it's turned out really well, so I hope you enjoy it, and please leave a comment down below, as I'd really like to know what you think. I'm going to start with the sky. It's brighter over on the left hand side and darkening to the right. So in order to do this, I'm just going to just wet it down to begin with, because I don't really know how to do this. I think I need to keep it light and bright over on the left, and a little darker at the top, so I'll graduate down from the top, but I've got to add the blue in over there, so that's why I'm wetting the whole thing so it all merges together. So no, I don't want to start with blue, I'm making a mistake already. So I'm going to start with a little bit of Payne's Grey, a tiny amount, just to darken it down a little bit. I'm just going to wash it all over the top. See how it just spreads. A lot more than I was expecting. Okay, now I shall get some blue. I have no idea what blue this is. It looks nice on the palette, so I think I should do fine. Let's do it from right to left. It's a very cold day when this was taken. That's better. I'm really over fussing this. Let's whack it on and see how it goes. Got a little bit more of the grey. Darken some of these wisps over here. I always worry about these splodges that form. I think I've just got to let them sit and do their stuff, because it's all going to fade out. I'd try and just pick out a bit of, get some harder edges on these clouds. I think I'm being a little timid. But that's okay. I'll put the top left there. I'm not sure you can see, but this is not looking very nice. I'm going to put a bit more darks up there. I'm not sure what happened there. It's kind of stained more in one place than the other. Let's leave that and see how it turns out as a lesson. It's always a lesson. Okay, I'm going to continue with the mid-ground. So the green at the moment is coming out. How's that looking? It's a bit too green. How's that gone? That's too red. But I'm going to put it on anyway, because it doesn't really matter. Because this is just an underlay, if you like. And I just painted straight over that bit of water. I wanted to use a sky colour and I forgot all about it, which is a very silly thing to do. So just pretend it wasn't there. I'm just going to take all that. The sky is terrible. I was hoping it would dry. Oh, always remember to wash your brush. Oh, this has gone badly. Wash and dry your brush. I've got a green sky. There we go. Pull that out. Not much damage done. I've got to do what I can to resurrect this. I'm just going to get some blue in there. Okay, so I'm just going to get some blue in there and see if we can just. Oh man, that's terrible. Let that settle. I'm not sure where this paper came from, but I think there was something on the paper there that's just upset it. I'm going to start getting cauliflowers if I'm not too careful. Oh, that's a dramatically different sky than I was expecting. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm making a mess. He says, as he just goes to take a bit of that on top of these clouds. There we go. Much better. Right, I'm definitely not touching the sky anymore. I think it looks terrible. Don't like it. I'm going to leave it and see if, as often happens, I start to like it after a while and go, wow, that was amazing. How did I do that? Right, going to pause it there. I'm going to let this mess dry. I'm going to work on these dark areas around the buildings, the roof of the buildings, and some of the trees all along the horizon. Maybe I should be going for something a bit more bold at this stage. But as you can probably tell, I'm not feeling very bold, so I'm just going to scoot along here. Make it up as I go along. There's a kind of just hedges and the odd tree here. That's a terrible tree. I can be quite precise on the roof of this. My drawing wasn't very good, I have to say. So I'm trying to make up for that. I can see what's happening already. This should be pretty dark, and it's going to turn into a kind of a mid-tone. And one of the issues I always find I have is that you end up with kind of wishy-washy paintings which just don't have any oomph to them. So I may have to go over this again, but I don't know how bad that is really, to be honest. I'm not sure what's going on with this roof. It's like there's a large chimney or something like a taller building behind it, but I don't know. Let's just get a bit of darkness in there. It's not so much shadow, it's just age and dirt. I'll just do the basic trunks of these trees. I shall come over them, wash over them again later. Something a bit more definite. It's going to go straight through that tree, that doesn't matter. Now I can do the big brush. That's better. There's a tendency to be too little, picky and wishy-washy, and you just need to get in there with a big brush and do something a bit more interesting. Problem is now my paper's all bent and warped from the wet paint, and that was difficult to actually do a straight line. And I've run out of paint. Brilliant. Now, one thing they always say is that you should mix enough paint, and I didn't. Trying to dry brush that as much as possible. And this is my first attempt at dry brushing. It's not coming out too bad. I haven't even done it as a test. Right, what do we have over here? Over this side, it's much darker over here, isn't it? That's nice. Mosaic with a right, I'm going to just paint in the main trunk of the tree. I'm not going to have any detail in that. Well, not intentionally anyway. It's practically pure Payne's grey. I'm regretting that already. It just needs to, it just looks dead. Made a mistake of just having, oh, that's terrible. So I've got a bit of texture in there now. Bit of scraping. And darken it on this side. That's a bit better. Right, back to the bigger brush. Just put some just trying to merge it in, because you don't want a harsh edge where it meets all the grass. That's a bit better. It's nice using better paper because it is tougher for when you do these kind of abusive manoeuvres. Am I about to get too adventurous with this tree? There are a lot of tiny branches, and I think I'm going to have to apply a haze using I don't know, a lighter grey perhaps. I think I might have to be brave and do kind of a dry brush over that to suggest all these tiny branches. Paint a few more in here. I've not really done a tree before in watercolour, so this is a new experience. That's a proper wiggly one, that. There are lots around here. I mean, this is actually quite dark over here, in fact, with the... Right. I think I'm going to get... I've got some paint. It's not a very wet brush. I'm going to... God, there's no paint at all in it. Completely dried out. Right, so I need a bit more paint. So I'm going to very careful to begin with. This is no, just not enough at all. Okay. It's okay. I don't want to go too far. Use the bristles of the brush to I'm taking tiny amounts of paint off the palette and just dabbing it on. I need to go darker, certainly over there. I've got a lot more paint on the brush now, that's a bit better. So I'm going to let that dry and may go over it again. I need to kind of do the same thing for these trees, but I'm going to try and put a bit more blue into it. The idea being that things tend to become more blue in the distance, but more receding. I need a touch of green as well. So bluey green. That's too much, I think. So a bit more watery. Try this over here. I'm not entirely sure how this is working out at the moment. What I do need to do is paint the side of this, because that is certainly not white. It's like painting with a complete dry brush then. I'm not talking at the moment because I'm trying to be very still. I don't know why I'm whispering either. Oh, I messed up then. Shouldn't talk and do that. Okay. Splodge. Right, I didn't really put any of these light greens in, so I'm gonna try and come up with a light green and see if I can add that in. I know it doesn't work in watercolours, but I made a mistake, so I need to make up for it. Ooh, I'll stop using that green. It's not very light at all. Let's try it in the foreground. See, that's like the darkest green ever. Try this. If I just whack in a bit of, ugh, that's terrible. Just the wrong. I need yellow. That's what I needed. I need certainly a lot more yellow in that green. I'm not sure if I like this or not. take a bit out of it in the distance here, see if that will just... Oh, that's a bit better. Okay, I just need to do on this building as well a bit more. Dark. Touch of green as well. Okay, I'm going to try and work over here. This should be a lot darker. And I'm going to get in there and just... Oh, it's too light. Okay, so more Payne's grey. That's very green. Just scratching in a bit of texture, otherwise it just ends up being a big dark blob. It's amazing how little water there is on my brush then. Let's get some more together. Don't like that though. I want to try some scratching out of details in the foreground here. Now, I've not really done it before. I understand that it needs to be wet, or I believe it needs to be wet. I've seen people use a credit card. Let's try it. Luckily it's not mine, so it won't get damaged. I quite like the way it, well, it doesn't work for a start, but I quite like the way it does bring a bit of texture into the lighter area as well. It takes up some of the dark into the lighter. It's working in a way, isn't it? Okay, if we really digging into it there, get some into the definitely dry paint as well. I actually quite like that. I think that's working quite well. Oh, yeah. I mean, it brings it forward as well, which is. I should have done this earlier when it was wet. Do I work some more on this tree? Tell you what. Use the magic card. Yeah, it's far too dry to do anything with down there. Can you wet the paper and do it? I'm not sure that's a good idea. Let's have a little go. Just put a bit of detail there. So wet the paper. I'm just going to see if I can scratch anything out. See, the pigment's already in the paper there, isn't it? So I'm going to I can get a little bit out. I'm literally tearing up the paper there. Yeah, let's not do that. There you go. I think that's okay. Don't look too close. I want to take that down a bit. I don't want it too bright. And also that it's not actually direct sunlight here, it's just a bit. That's better. It is bright sunlight, but there's no kind of really bright areas apart from the front of this. There's a bit of green in there as well, which I'm just pushing that there. Right, this is where we stop and we come back in 5 minutes. Have a look at it. Okay, I've been looking at it for the past few minutes. I'll give it a break and then I came back and had a look, and I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to try and put a few touches to the tree because we lost a lot of the branches around here. I mean, it's now mostly dry, and I've actually got the picture within frame as well. So I don't know if that's going to be too dark, isn't it? That's going to be too black. That's way too black. Yeah, I think that would be a very bad idea if I started doing that. I'm expecting this to kind of merge in more over time, so I just want to get the definition of these, a lot more of these branches. Oh, big fat branch. I do want a fat branch. Now, I have no idea if doing lots of these is going to be a good idea or a bad idea. Does it just end up looking a bit of a silly mess? Or see, I think it starts to look a bit strange. Just having lots of, because they get a bit samey. Even though I'm trying to do it random, they're not that random. So I think maybe if I spread out my efforts. Especially these. I wish this wasn't quite so large and I'd had spend a bit more time and care on these. I think that would have been a little better. It's terrible. Dear me. I think we need to work. I need to working on my trees a bit more. That's just not good at all. Trying to soften it down. I think I'm going to have to stop. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here, and it's not very good. I don't know if I can soften these down. I'm just applying straight water here. See if I can get it to bleed a bit. It's all going to dry off in that. It's going to... Right. Not happy with the tree. Need to do some more work on trees in the future, but I think all the parts of it, I'm kind of surprised how well it turned out. So let's leave it there. Hope you enjoyed this one. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.